Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with Xbox Beastfire. Now officially on Mondays at about 8 p.m. Eastern, but we always run it on Black Man time. You know that is. But we got a few topics to talk about today. Hey, Coach, you want to start off with your synopsis of a lot of games skipping the Xbox One, coming PC, PS4. What do you guys want to tackle first?
Yeah, we can start with
Colt.
that.
Do you want to start that, Colt? Go ahead.
I'm going to start the war.
We're doing it live.
Today,
Let's do it live.
Cliffy B today said that he talked about Lawbreakers, and he said it's coming to PC and PS4, and he said it's a business decision because there's a larger install base on PS4, and we're a small team, and we can't do it on both. So this is kind of a trend I've been seeing lately just this year. Dealer,
Traitor. Like, in all honesty, come on. Cliffy, he made all his fucking money on Xbox. How the fuck is he gonna shun Xbox like that? Same with like Bungie. How the fuck you gonna go do that?
All right, you come down off the fanboy rant, bro. It's pure business. Pure business. And I agree. That's before you even made the statement. I knew that it was pure business because it's common sense. It's not the first time a developer has released a game on PlayStation.
PlayStation is the market leader.
Yeah, there's not the first time they released a game on PlayStation and PC and then brought it to Xbox One later, which is exactly what will happen here. So he even moved to the Midwest to develop at a much cheaper cost. He was doing an interview about that. He lives in the Midwest. He moved from California. He said it's so much easier to develop in the Midwest. They're all about money, and he obviously doesn't have too much of it left. So this is one of his games that he's coming out with. Is it a free-to-play?
No, it's like $30 or $40.
30 or 40 bucks, yeah. And like I said, he said it was business. It makes perfect sense. It will come to Xbox. It's just going to be at a later date. All right.
What?
That makes no sense. Why would you like? That makes no sense. Like it's already a multi-plat.
He just explained why it makes sense.
But he needs to get more money to power development for the rest of the consoles.
Yeah, he's got to.
You're telling me Cliffy B don't know a few people up in Microsoft, a few people up in the Xbox division. Come on, man, I'm not buying that shit.
I'm with you on that one.
I'm sure he knows them, but I mean, what are they going to do? Go there and make the Xbox version, for him? I don't think so.
I wish that team good luck with that game, but bro, nobody cares about a knockoff Overwatch, bro.
First of all, Xbox is behind PlayStation 4. We all know this. The PlayStation 4 is selling at a phenomenal rate, but there's at least 30 million Xboxes out there. So it's not like there's like a million of them out there. That's just stupid, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As a business choice, it's stupid.
Well, it's just important to remember that it's very temporary. Probably in the next year you'll get an Xbox One. Do you care?
We don't know that. We don't know that.
I guarantee you, because we've seen this trend over and over this generation. They go for the people that there's just more of them out there, so they can get more money to finish development on other platforms. It's happened several times, and you're going to be seeing a lot throughout the next year with Japanese titles. A lot of those great third-party titles people brag about, they're coming to Xbox. They've been confirmed not to be full exclusives. They just haven't come over here yet. That's exactly what's happening with Lawbreakers.
And why take part of his team? He has a small team. I don't know how many people, 25 people or something. Who knows, right? Why take a chunk of that team and have them monkey around to get the game to perform well on the Xbox One when they know the Scorpio's coming out at the end of the year? He could take a look at that, see what it's doing, and develop the Scorpio version.
Good point.
6 months or a year later.
Still got to run the base X1 though.
Yeah,
they can't just put it on Scorpio. So it's a lot more simple than what people are really chalking it up to be. It's just a timed thing for money. They need money. They need the bigger install base to get some money, and that'll power the rest of the development. We've seen it time and time again. Like I think All Day said, right? It is kind of an Overwatch knockoff. It's just like Paladins. If you like that kind of stuff, more power to you. But hey, it's kind of for a specific type of gamer, in my opinion.
Right.
All right. Can we all just get along? What else? Is anything else besides
Red Dead got delayed?
No. You say it was some other games.
Oh, Colt had some other games that weren't coming to Xbox this year, but PlayStation.
No, there's been a bunch. I'm not going to go back and backtrack them, but it's just kind of been a trend I've seen lately. Just this year.
It's good third-party support. That's what I've been saying for 8 months. They've got much more third-party support than we do, and that's really the big difference. Because first-party, they release a very similar amount of games. It's primarily third-party that's making up that difference. So,
Okay.
I don't know, motherfuckers. Wake the fuck up, goddammit.
How come nobody's talking about this 60 frames per second fiasco about Destiny? That's what I want to talk about.
Did
lots
talk
of people
about it.
talking about it. Yeah, a lot
Did
of people
talk about it. I think it's extremely interesting. People will say that it's the same CPU and the Scorpio not going to be able to do it anyways. The difference between 200 megahertz, and those same people are morons because they didn't even watch Digital Foundry's video. The hardware has been the CPU and GPU have been custom built around the software, the game engines, right? Now, of course, hey, it sounds like some jargon to a lot of people, but they also confirmed much lower latency, much faster queue times, and a DX12 command processor built into the CPU. The same chip. That's why they call it a custom 8-core CPU. So whether or not you believe it is one thing. I think you will definitely have more overhead in the Scorpio CPU than the Pro CPU. They said you can't buy this chip. The Pro's CPU is just an overclocked PS4 chip, right? So they didn't do any customizations to that thing.
Yeah, because
I think you might maybe PvE, maybe PvP is 30 frames online because Xbox One or whatever they want to do, maybe parity, but maybe some version, maybe PvE or just single player story, something could be 60 still, but maybe not.
Yeah, they don't have to.
It's because of marketing or something.
They don't have to split the servers on Xbox for people to play the co-op part in 60 frames and 30 frames. There's no need for that. So
because they let you play co-op with PC guys on Horizon 3 and Gears 4, and most of those guys are playing those games at 60 frames. Would you know? No, you wouldn't know probably unless they told you. But PC guys on Play Anywhere, they're playing co-op with you at 60 frames on the same server. So
I just found it interesting that Microsoft came out and just said flat out, no, there's no mandate. If the developer wants to get it 60 frames per second, he can. If he wants to do it at 30, he can, because we were all under the impression from the leaked documents that multiplayer games would be locked to the same frame rate as the original Xbox One. So this is big
who
big
that
news.
was, who really tried to confirm that primarily is Shannon Loftus. And apparently much of that was just assumption, because she did it again the other day where she said, yeah, it's true, we're not mandating anything, but hardly any multiplayer developers will just allow differences in frame rates. Like she's just blanket statement. That's just a blanket statement for all developers. And I don't believe that. No.
Here's the thing, though. With my opinion, yesterday on BGST, Xbox released for it, the same frame rates. But if you're buying a
same frame rates,
as far as 30 across the board from.
I mean, he's for having the same frame rates across the board.
Yeah. Again, if you're paying for a premium product or whatever the goddamn case may be, and the Scorpio can do 60, I want the Scorpio to do 60. So if Microsoft really cared that much about making things even and fair, you wouldn't be able to play against PC gamers in Gears of War 4.
Exactly.
If across the street on the game like 90 frames per second.
You wouldn't give a goddamn.
Dealer, let me ask you a question, bro. How come Microsoft can't go underneath all this and make sliders on the Xbox Scorpio without having any developers holding them back?
Same reason that they don't do it on PC, because it's all software that determines that. So, but the thing is, on PC you can then go in the options and change it there or whatever. You can adjust the settings. Here, developers do what they want to do, and go back to Z's point. People don't give a fuck about this. I mean, some people do, but primarily the hardcore guys don't, because they'll be on Scorpio for one. And secondly, they took the time to think about the Elite controller and the capabilities that controller unlocks for the well-skilled players out there. Literally allows you to do things that you cannot do without it, with those pedals on the back, right? Mm-hmm. You learn how to do all that, and you're going to be a monster. And that is a far greater advantage than 30 frames. Yeah, 60 is much better, nicer. It's mainly just an experience thing with 60 for me. I don't play it because I'm like, oh my God, I'm so much better in the game. I just prefer it. It's just nicer.
You know what's crazy, bro?
That's better, but an Elite controller gives you a far larger advantage in games than anything like 60
Call of Duty's been at 60 for a long time, right? I never heard anybody care about it back then.
No.
It was just, this game.
But the difference is though, you're not playing 30 versus 60. You know, it's the same across the board.
Right.
It's one of those things that people are just afraid to change, and they don't really understand that like I said, the Elite controller, they confirm mouse and keyboard's coming. Things like that are just going to be far more detrimental to balance than anything like 30 versus 60, and it's going to erode away. I told motherfuckers months ago that this policy would simply erode away. You remember me saying that clear as day, and it's already done it before the console came out. So now it's up to the developers.
I found it interesting that Bungie didn't flat out deny that it's going to be 60 frames per second on Project Scorpio, and if it is 60 frames per second on Scorpio, that's going to be a drop the mic moment at E3, and as well, it's going to remind me of the Xbox One PS4 launch, where their games were 1080p and our games were like 720p. This will be like a big difference, like. You'll know that the power is definitely there in Project Scorpio when it's getting double the frame rates of the PS4 Pro, because Bungie came out and said right away, says we're gonna kill this right now. It cannot do 60 frames per second on the PS4 Pro. We just can't do it. It's not capable of doing it.
Too weak.
There was a panic moment with Bungie. If you guys watched that video more than once, they were, these guys don't go in front of a camera without talking points from their the public information officers, like right over their shoulder, telling them what they can say and what they can't say. And they were damn well prepared for the 60 frame per second question. But when it was asked, he was deer in the headlights. And the couple times.
Well, I mean, he was direct and straight up on it, though. You got to give him props.
No,
right?
no, Luke.
But the servers?
Luke Smith, is that his name? He was straight up, but the other guy next to him like freaked out. And
yeah, you're right.
And his answer was very well guarded, like D said, and it's kind of interesting to try and translate what they're trying not to say. And like D makes a really good point, like they easily could have said it's probably going to be, or they've been told they're not allowed. Maybe Sony's told them maybe they're not allowed to talk about.
Or they could have said like what Mass Effect said, right? They said the same thing with Mass Effect. They said we're looking at that option. That's what the team behind Mass Effect said. So, and it never happened. But the one thing that you hear too, mainly amongst idiots, is that we're giving people, we're hyping people up, we're giving people hope for 60 on Destiny. And if you look at what I said Ybarra with his statements confirms that it could be a possibility of being 60 frames, right?
Mm-hmm. But
that's just a fact. With his statements, it's up to the developers. Now, more interestingly, to go back to what D was saying, is that they did, when they were asked about Scorpio, they paused for a good 2-3 seconds and said, we can't talk about that yet, basically. And then we heard later that they can't talk about it until E3. Now, why when asked, is it going to be 30 or 60 on this or that, why not just say it's going to be 30 on every console, all consoles, just blanket statement. You don't even got to mention the Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even got to harn it like that. And just say it's unlocked on PC. Why not just say that?
Here's the thing, though. Check it out, right? At the end of the day, and I'm going to see this again, if the Scorpio can do 60, I'll give you an example. When he asked about the PlayStation 4 Pro, basically saying it's not strong enough and not fast enough to render their engine at 60 frames per second. Cool. You know what I mean? Mind you, this is what you call a quote-unquote a mid-gen refresh. This will be a fail on Microsoft part. And the reason why I say that, even though Sony can do it also, you know what I mean? But we're buying these new quote-unquote more beefier console, and you still can't give me a locked, steady 60 frames. And I don't give a fuck about the, frames per second of resolution. I told you I'm more of a graphics guy. It's not a big deal to me. But I think that's a fail for them, you know what I mean? And again, this would be a drop the mic moment for Microsoft, even though they don't have the marketing deal for the goddamn game. Because remember, at the start of the generation, it was 720p Call of Duty Ghosts on the Xbox One, and Microsoft had the marketing rights to that game. And it was
Battlefield 1 last year, they had marketing rights, but the game looked and ran better on PS4 for the most part, right? Yeah. I mean, marketing rights are not indicative of the quality of the game. Witcher 3 looked and eventually ran better on PlayStation 4. It's just the fact of the matter. The marketing rights do not dictate what platform gets the best version of the game. Never has.
The reason why I say that because Ryan McCaffrey said that, the Scorpio version will be 30 frames because of the marketing deal or whatever they have in place with Activision and Bungie. You know what I mean? That's what I said.
Yeah, I saw that. And he may have a point this time around because Sony may be wanting to lock this down hard. And if it's not 60 on Destiny 2, then I would probably say maybe it did attribute somewhat because I mean either way you're getting the best version on Xbox Scorpio.
Are you
getting
saying
the best version either way?
Are you saying that the company with the bigger wallet is going to pay to hold back the gimped console? Like, I mean, as Sony, are you really saying that there's a possibility that Sony could say, "Man, we can't have these multi-plats looking better on our competition. We have the marketing rights. Let's just keep them the same across the board."
Behind closed doors with a handshake and a wink, wink. Yes, they could do it. You'd never know, though. To be honest.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to hear those developers when confirmed if it was a CPU issue or not. Then we'll know. But even then, I don't think it would lie to us if it is a CPU issue. Whatever, they're not using DX12 or this or that. But even if they're both at 30, Scorpios is going to be on Xbox Live. It's proven to be better, much better, and also Scorpios is going to be at a higher fidelity. Now I'm hearing Destiny 2 on Pro is both checkerboard and it's not checkerboard. None of that's really been locked down yet. They haven't said native 4K yet that I know of. Does anybody else have any updated information on that?
No, they never did say native 4K. No, they didn't.
They just say 4K, and they don't even sound enthused about it because it sounds like somebody's going to find out that it's checkerboarded or something, right?
It's still going to look good. I guess it's still.
And to a lot of people thinking about the difference in the CPUs, listen, the CPUs are completely different. They're completely custom. But forget about that for a second. Excuse me. And remember about the DX12 hardware chip that's in there that does thousands of draw calls with just 11 instructions, which takes off so much load off of the CPU, freeing it up to do a lot of stuff. This is another way that they'll be able to achieve 60 frames per second. So people need to get this out of their head about this Jaguar, and it's just not capable of doing it. Because Microsoft stated many times that one of the reasons why they delayed bringing out Project Scorpio and not the way that PS4 Pro was launched is because they want to increase frame rate as well. So now if games are still going to be locked at 30 frames per second, why do they delay it for?
A year is a long time in tech. It's a long delay.
Even without the chip, bro, even without the DX12 command processor, it still would be better. It still would
be better, but without that, I wouldn't say it'd be capable of doing 60 frames per second. Because of that, and it's doing thousands of draw calls, and it's optimized for DX12, that is how they're going to get to 60 frames per second. I would go out on the limb and say, to be honest with you, most of the games, the games that are going to achieve 60 frames per second are going to be DX12 games. I don't think otherwise they're going to achieve that frame rate.
I don't think if I'm not mistaken, the only thing you can use up here is DX12.
Yeah, that's correct. You can use. I think the documents say you can use DX11, but it's not recommended. You got to go through this whole process to get that mode. So, like most likely it's not. But I don't know what developers are going to choose to do. Right? Some developers.
Either way, 30, 60, it's going to be better.
Yeah,
that's as simple as it gets.
Long as it's not being held back, I don't have an issue. If it can't do it, fine, fuck it. Long as they're not holding it back for console parity, and don't do that.
What I heard today is 90% of AAA games won't be 4K on Scorpio, and I'm just blown the fuck away because these people are so stupid.
Even if it
lack the ability to go and see like a weaker card like an RX 480 at 5.8, which from what we found out from Digital Foundry, Scorpio is so much more powerful than an RX 480, right? I've proven that an RX 480 does 4K 30 Ultra on several recent AAA games, even games that were hard to run like Arkham Knight, 4K 30 Ultra.
Even if it isn't,
this thing is going to destroy AAA games at 4K.
Yeah, even if a game isn't 4K, it's still going to run and look better on the Scorpio when they compare it to the PS4 Pro.
Yeah,
that's all there is to it.
Either way, these people insult their own platform of choice when they say that. It's like, well, then the Pro's going to get fucking dunked on, So either way, it's one of those things people have to believe it when they see it. I've called it forever ago. You'll see on average 4K 30 high ultra on Scorpio games, and then you'll have 4K 60 like Forza, etc. So,
I mean, if it's such a problem, if guys have a problem with it, bro, just get it on Blizzard.net and enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. Get it on your 1080 Ti's or whatever. Fuck.
Shit. So what else we have?
Red Dead.
Red Dead 2. I mean, everybody on the internet already predicted that this would be pushed. I mean, I think Max Payne 3, GTA 4 and 5, Red Dead 2 or Red Dead 1, and I can't remember what else. They've all been going for holiday and delayed to spring, which is great. I'm glad. I mean,
yeah, I think it's better. I think it's a better time.
When's the last time Rockstar put out a turd when they said they wanted to put it out? I mean, I think their games have always been top notch, and the only bugs I ever got in the original Red Dead were hilarious. One time I was pulling my little wagon cart and started just hitting the switches. It was like on hydraulics, going boing, boing, boing. Let me ride. So, yeah, I mean, good. I'm glad to see Red Dead. Wait. That's good. I mean, good news.
It gives a lot of elbow room for that first quarter next year. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to fight with any of the big AAAs coming out at the end of the year this year. So
I don't think the big AAA games have to fight with Red Dead. Fuck.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, that's right. a lot of AAA games are like, "Woo, that's good. We don't have to compete with them this fall," because that game was gonna wipe everyone's ass, man.
Yeah, I mean, it had to
and that's great, right? Like people forget. I like that we're seeing stuff come out towards the front half of the year, right?
Oh yeah.
Recent developments.
Well, I guess. Well, here's the thing. Then, being that now that we are losing a juggernaut this holiday season, which in Red Dead Redemption, do you think we might see Sony slot one of their first-party IPs into the slot?
I think the slot's already filled with
the GT trash.
So I don't think that's going to matter.
Comes out in the summertime, doesn't it? August.
I just think some games might benefit from it not being there more. That's all.
So, Finest Gamers asking about Far Cry 5. I just heard recently, and I haven't looked into it yet, but that it isn't actually a Western. It just takes place in Montana in like a really religious town. Have you guys heard this?
No.
It's like a modern day game?
No.
Oh, it's modern day.
That's what I'm hearing. Anybody in the comment can confirm that. But my friend said
that. Talking about Far Cry, right?
Far Cry 5. Yeah, we were talking about having like the Western competition. That game would come out around the same time as Red Dead 2. But since it's being delayed, Ubisoft doesn't like to. They just like to dump out their game no matter what it looks like. Far Cry 5 is supposed to be a modern day small town Montana game where it's like a religious fanatic town, and bring on the guns, I guess. If anybody can look that up, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I really wouldn't expect too many Ubisoft games to hit 60 very well with their open world like that, because Ubisoft, their shit never runs at 60 that well on a lot of
It's never optimized at all.
And their stuff doesn't look good. I've bought a lot of their recent games on PC thinking.
Shit, remember Call of Juarez? Shit.
Oh man.
Well, you know what? Right now I'm playing Call of Juarez Gunslinger. You should go buy that game. That's a fun one. That's the old
shit game,
Western game. But yeah, that's coming. So there's a crap ton of games, more than we have time to play and money to buy.
I think Assassin's Creed is going to have a big impact this year, bigger than what a lot of people are expecting, because people are still kind of tired of Assassin's Creed even now. But I think when they show it off, I think it's probably going to be pretty big.
Well, the word around town is
people
will be full advantage for Project Scorpio and Microsoft.
Yeah, we'll fucking see. It's Ubisoft.
Microsoft. I'm sorry,
they are partnering, so they have an incentive.
Yeah, they were. I'm sorry, they were going to use it like a showcase.
That could be one of the reasons why they took a year off too. We don't know.
Nah, people just got burnt on that franchise, bro. Like it was just they needed a break. They needed a break.
Yeah, they did.
They got tired of Assassin's Creed karate fighting in London, the last one. Fucking 500 punches for you drop somebody. Pretty nuts, bro. But I mean, you'll never see a game that has a marketing deal with Sony or Microsoft and not completely utilize their latest technology. So, that's kind of one advantage. Will one hold back the other? That's a little bit more leeway there, right? But you'll definitely see them optimize for the one they're marketing for first.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much an improvement.
I'm going to go on a limb and think Microsoft got it, because I know that Ubisoft and Microsoft, they do have a great relationship.
They got it.
No,
they got it.
Sony has Far Cry 5, which is confirmed from this year. Star
Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah,
also.
They got it all, man. They got it all.
They literally almost have it all.
Will Sony still show what they plan on showing for Red Dead 2, even with the delay? I mean, do they have something like packaged for them?
I would imagine.
Yeah, because gamers are still anticipating it, so they'll want to see something. I guess they might not put as much attention to it because it's coming out in March, and maybe that's where Sony might bump something in Z that wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Well, you got.
I do want to say real quick too, because you heard Shannon Loftus is getting like all kinds of shit on Twitter now. On Xbox Nation, we were kind of talking about who could do their job a bit better and who would you fire, like, you know, just figuratively or whatever, right? It wasn't supposed to be taken literally. Motherfuckers are telling her she needs to be fired now, so don't do that, guys. Like, that's not cool.
Wow.
Because I was saying that Aaron Greenberg needs to do a much better job or be fired. Like, that was just my opinion, but I was also kind of joking around about it. And because marketing's just been trash on Xbox. They did a good job with Halo Wars 2, Halo 5, but other than that, subpar. And we can all agree on that.
Yes.
So whether or not it's Aaron Greenberg or his boss or whatever, something needs to change there. But that's just my opinion. That don't mean that people need to tweet them and say you need to be fired. You know, that's just I need to be able to talk about this shit without ramifications here, you know? So
No, and
I don't know, man. Marketing, it could be better.
And I want Microsoft to act like they have their big boy pants on. You know, they've been really timid the past 2 years.
Just act like you give a fuck. That's
yeah,
all.
just act like you're the big. You know, for being outsold, you know, double by the PlayStation 4. I mean, the Xbox is still doing great things, and they need to act like it because they're offering some great things for the people who are on the platform.
Yeah,
Even
and
the
people
people
say,
on
well, who
PC.
cares about marketing, Colt? And we'll say, well, it's not about. It's not.
I'll
doesn't
tell you
mean
who
that-
cares. Sony, they're the ones.
It doesn't mean that you're going to get a worse experience. Trust me. Like, just because Far Cry 5 is being marketed on PlayStation, the best version will be on Scorpio. The divide in RAM performance is too much. It's impossible for them to have the best version unless they just don't try. Right? It's that bad. But here we're talking about Microsoft need to get the message out there about Scorpio. We want it to do well. We want the brand to recover and accelerate. And for them to do that, people need to know the best version is on this platform. But how can you do that when all the marketing deals are taken up by the competition, which was intentional? They did the smartest thing you could have possibly did this year over at Sony. You know, props. You did the best thing you could have did. But ultimately, the problem is still there. How are they going to get the message out? How are they going to show the games off? Nothing Digital Foundry right now is about it. So
you know what's crazy?
Like, in my personal opinion, I think, you know, since they announced Crackdown 3, we should have been seeing trailers since then till now. Period.
I'm glad they did. I'm glad they're holding everything till E3 at this point, man.
Nah, that's not an excuse. No
Do you
way.
guys think?
No way.
Do you think
No
Crackdown
way.
is going to get released this holiday?
Yeah,
Yeah,
It has
it's
to.
confirmed.
It has to. It
yeah.
has to.
It's a showcase for Scorpio.
And you know, cloud physics as well. People say it's not real, but they've already shown those demos off with the cloud doing physics compute. I mean, it's pretty fucking awesome.
You know
But
what?
the questions are, what are the stipulations? How much, you know, how fast does the internet need to be and all that stuff? So does it have an offline mode? Like, this stuff's going to be
Actually,
pretty cool to learn about.
I don't think they I think they were pretty specific. Jeez, I'm drunk. I think the specifics is about you didn't need super fast internet to do that cloud computing destruction.
Well, to
stuff.
them, 8 megabytes isn't super fast, but somebody out in the cornfield, you know, stuck with 3 megs, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be interesting to find out. Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be interesting to find out what that requirement is. Not that it's a negative. I'm just saying the technical aspect of a game that requires internet for the main feature of the game being physics simulation. That's very interesting to me.
Yeah, sure.
I think the last time I heard though, they were using some new type of technique, and they only needed like 8 megabits. I think that is correct. I remember reading that.
Maybe. Hopefully it's lower. I'd like to see it around 3 to 5, but whatever.
But 8 megabits. Who the hell? You know what? In all honesty, I don't know. Maybe I'm being cruel here.
It's not a choice, motherfucker.
If you don't have 8
Areas that do
megabits of
not
internet,
have fast internet, man.
fuck you, man.
No, it's
As far as the latency, if I'm not mistaken, Microsoft they acquired the tech from I think it was either North Carolina, some students there, to get it down to like 2 megabytes or some shit like that.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I want to add on to what you guys were saying about as far as marketing. And bro, I've been saying this shit for the last 2.5 to 3 years. I don't understand how year after year, or even this generation, you know what I mean, how Sony's been able to outmuscle and outgun them in the marketing advertisement. Like I said, as far as the Xbox, you know, and as far as the PlayStation, like this
next gen. It's because people still haven't gotten over the 2013 reveal.
Okay, fine. Listen, I will give you that. Listen, I will give you that. But that doesn't stop you. You listen. You still have a job to do. You understand?
I don't think it is because of 2013. It's because Sony just markets better. You see more commercials. You see commercials about third-party shit no one's ever heard of, and they make it look cool somehow. It's just the style that like everyone can agree that they just market things better at this point.
Sony's a huge entertainment company, so all the power to them. They know how to do that. They
sell
movies.
Microsoft need to outsource and hire someone else. I don't know, do something else.
Yeah. They're you know what? Honestly, tell you. And no disrespect, I know it's got to be hard to do marketing. I've done marketing before, and when it falls flat, it falls flat. But you have to take the responsibility for your actions. And the lackluster job that Microsoft has been doing with marketing is a big reason why the fucking sales have been down on Xbox.
And you got people that are going to defend them. You got people that know them personally. They're going to defend them and this and that. I don't know them personally, and I'm not. That's even better because I don't have to let my personal bias with that person get in my way of thinking. And I can sit here and look and say the competition's destroying you in marketing. Yes. Where are you at? I don't give a fuck if you're someone's friends with them. I could care less. That's not my concern. My concern is what am I seeing? How effective is it? They did a pretty good job with Halo Wars 2, but they chose Halo Wars 2 to do that with. Yeah. They knew that game wasn't going to move volumes.
Even better, dealer. Even better.
Pull your pants up, take a shot of vodka, and fucking get it done.
Listen, it's like when Microsoft builds a little momentum, they just stop. When at the E3 last year, Microsoft was on fire with the Xbox One S, the Slim 4K Blu-ray player. Then they
can't let it die, bro.
They fucking took their foot off their gas again.
No, actually, Xbox has been pretty steady. You have to remember for this holiday, Sony has Spider-Man, possibly Days Gone, Uncharted DLC, and one more. There's always a fourth one. I forget. One more game.
Possibly God of War.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay.
And that's their most promising lineup in PlayStation 4 history.
And then Xbox has State of Decay 2. And Crackdown.
No. Hey, Cole, that's not what I'm saying, Cole. You listen. Honestly, those are your IPs. You have to stick by them. I'm talking about, even unless those marketing deals have been signed for multi-year games like Destiny. Yeah. I don't know if this was Destiny 1 or this deal included Destiny 1, 2, and 3. You have new hardware coming out. Whether you love or fucking hate shooters the number one goddamn genre for consoles. You need a fucking shooter to advertise and to show your fucking power of your goddamn console. That doesn't make any goddamn sense to me, man.
Maybe we'll get one, Z. Maybe we will get one. Maybe they're just
surprise
wraps, and maybe they're gonna surprise us all with a new IP.
Halo, the Toenail Collection. Get out of here! Fuck you. Man,
the Toenail Collection. I'd buy it.
We gonna kill that fungus.
Yeah, like this. I don't know, man.
ODST remastered.
ODSTD.
Right.
All right. But yeah, it's clear that marketing needs to be stepped up. Like I said, don't give a fuck if you know them or not. It is what it is. It's just the perspective of a lot of people in the community. Do they need to be fired? No. That was some metaphorical, like joking around shit, right? But they do need to step it up. And if they don't step it up, maybe they do need to be fired later on. But and definitely don't tell these people they need to be fired. That's not nice.
No. Give them tips, and I'll give them a tip. Like I know they watch some of our shows, and I hope they're watching this show. And this is a free tip, man. Put a kiosk in every video game store, in every Best Buy. So put them in the EB Games, GameStops. Put them in Best Buy. Put them in a big display on a big TV where people can see the graphic fidelity that Project Scorpio is going to provide, and it will help sales tremendously.
How's that going to happen? With no demos? That's crazy.
What do you mean no demos?
Xbox don't have no demos.
Nah, man. They can create custom demos for such a thing. And when gamers see that running there, they're not going to get a PS4 Pro. They're going to say, "Oh, why would I get the PS4 Pro? Look at this Xbox here. I'm going to grab this."
It's got to be a game. It's got to be a game running on that 4K TV at HDR.
You know what Sony's gonna do? This is real shit. You can fucking count on this. You're gonna have a themed Star Wars bundle, bro. This is gonna be huge for them. You're gonna have a theme.
I think it's gonna have. I'm gonna call right now. Just throw it out there. I think it's gonna have Darth Maul on it this time.
Whoever it has on it, you can have a themed Destiny 2 goddamn console, Pro, which is going to be huge for them. They're going to probably have a themed Call of Duty, whatever the fuck. Like, they're going to have the themed consoles. And I don't know, man. Like,
It's gonna be
I feel
PS4
sorry
Pro
for all
shaped like a
people
gun.
that are going to rush out and buy those themed versions of the Pro, because as an owner, I am completely let down thus far. I am just
Exactly.
with the Scorpio. I know what that extra 4 gigabytes is giving me with the HD texture packs and high bandwidth textures and all the shit. The benefits for every game, not just some automatic full image super sampling. The possibility of more 60 FPS titles, the possibility of higher graphical fidelity, just everything more that it can do.
And
It
Microsoft
does. And I picture people going in and buying a Pro, and I'm like, nah, you're going to be disappointed. That's why I always tell people, get the base PS4 over the Pro, because that's what I would have done knowing what I know now after having one.
Microsoft really needs to show the advantages of Project Scorpio over the PS4 Pro. That's all they need to do. That's all they need to do.
It's not hard. Just make it more than a resolution box.
Yeah. And just the simple thing like I was saying earlier of Destiny being 60 frames per second over the PS4 Pro's 30 frames per second, that would be huge. And a step in the right direction, showing that they have the most powerful console on the
Not
planet.
likely, but very huge. People would take note of that.
That with a $399 price tag would be fucking epic. There would be meltdowns. There'd be ponies jumping off.
People would trade in their kids for that.
And they got to
Ain't nobody taking a kid for that.
Every single Scorpio comes with 1 month of Xbox Pass. That's got to be on there.
Yeah,
Like,
the game
cool.
Yeah, the game. So right out the gate, you have exposure to hundreds of games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all your old shit works too,
Honestly.
all that good stuff.
Out of the box, you know what I mean? Microsoft is getting kicked off on the 10th, or was it June 10th?
11.
11.
Okay.
Either way, I'm glad they got rid of that parity clause between X1 and Scorpio frame rates. I think you will see developers take advantage of that on Scorpio. And as a matter of fact, I think it's smart because developers know that people paid more money for a better console.
That's
The
what I'm
first
saying.
developer to say, you know what, you paid more for this. We're going to give you a real experience on this thing that you want. I think that game will sell abnormally high compared to what it would have done otherwise.
And even if some games don't reach the 60 frames per second, with the inclusion of FreeSync 2, they can get it at 50 frames per second and lock it there. Fucking butter.
And we don't mention this because not a lot of us like VR, but when they say at E3 that this thing is ready to plug in an Oculus Rift, that's going to be a really big selling point too. On that box, sitting at Walmart next to dealer's girlfriend, there's going to be this Scorpio box that says it'll say 4K gaming, VR compatible with Oculus Rift, 4K Blu-ray movies can be played on this thing, and no games. It'll be awesome.
I don't think they're going to push VR very much the first year. I think that's more of a year 2 thing.
Don't you think that's going to be on the box though? That this thing is.
I mean, of course, it'll be on the box.
It'll be on the box. And I find it interesting that around the same time that Scorpio is coming out, that these headsets are coming out from HP and
wireless
Acer, and then of course the Microsoft VR Move controllers. They're all coming around the same time, and Scorpio is a Windows 10 device, and those are Windows 10 compatible. So I would think that those would work on it.
Yeah. I mean, they can make any of them compatible if they want. I mean, like you said, Windows 10 and all that.
And what would be
WP mixed with VR? It's perfect.
Yeah, man, and it's a very minimal setup. With the PSVR, it's not too bad, but you still got to set it up with the Oculus. It's more shit you got to set up with the HTC Vive. You got to put up all these boxes in your room to detect your motion. With these headsets, they got the inside out tracking. You don't got to do shit. You just plug it in and you're good to go. Plug and play, man.
Yeah.
For the most part,
There's your VR plug for the week, guys. There you go.
All right. We can close the show with this. Is the Sony Destiny relationship bad for gaming?
Yes.
If you know what? Yes, it is, because you know what, the original Destiny, they had the DLC for 2 years. Like, come on, 2 years?
Wait, did you say close the show?
Yeah, it's already been almost an hour, bro.
It's been 39 minutes.
Yeah, it's almost an hour, bro.
Well,
Hey, don't say that. They'll leave for.
No,
we
we're
even
going to
finish
spend
the-
20 minutes on the subject probably anyway, especially now. So,
yeah.
Z just want to hop on the line. That's what he wants.
Hit me in the back. All right.
Hey,
But
shout
anyway,
out.
that's too.
Shout out.
Is it bad for gaming? You know.
Yes. I think it's going to set a precedence that, like Dee said, it could start this little quiet, closed door thing, where one console says, don't make us look bad. It's just you know what. It's just easier. Just make it 30 across the board. That way you don't have to split your team up too much.
No.
Get the team done under budget.
No, I'm talking about far as I guess the DLC is what they're talking about. The DLC, I guess they're gonna have it for a year.
Oh,
2
the-
years.
Well, yeah, I mean, Phil Spencer's
yeah, you
already
didn't mention that part. Z.
Well, that you guys knew. I'm sorry. Well, it's just the
Fuck
Sony.
no, we're all playing Tetris right now, man.
No. Check it out. Because D Cordy said, the first batch was DLC was for like 2 years. So
Yeah,
I guess Sony.
that's
Yes,
overkill.
of course, the time stuff's bad. But Phil Spencer's already said he doesn't like that stuff, so he's been sitting back, not spending money on time DLC. And meanwhile, Sony's like snatched up everything huge to show at E3 this year.
Remember when he said he didn't like that kind of stuff and people jumped on his dick like Tomb Raiders, like idiot. We helped develop that game. We helped fund that whole game. It would not be what it is if not for us. That's different than just saying, hey, here's a bunch of content.
Here's a C note.
What do you want us to cut out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So
that's
it is-
exactly what they did with Destiny 1. Sony said, cut this raid out, cut this gun out, or maybe they brought it to them. It was small content, but for them to keep it out that long,
Content doesn't hold that
yeah.
much value. I mean, there's a couple weapons you might want, but
it doesn't. But like everything this generation, or at least this year, it's all about perception. People
Right.
don't know that. I know people that went out and bought it just for that, and it's like a raid, bro.
Wow.
I mean, it's literally
no,
nothing.
it's a strike.
and
It was
they
a
were
couple
so pissed.
strikes.
I know a lot. I know a lot.
Yeah, like either way, it's a couple sit there and do the same shit for.
Have
2
you guys
hours.
thought about this? This is kind of off branch of that subject, but we were talking about mouse keyboard support on the Xbox platform. And Dealer and I have been talking a lot about a lot of PC games coming over to Scorpio because UWP. Isn't there a potential for a crap ton of PC games to come over where they don't have to port it to work with a controller because mouse keyboard support will be on Scorpio?
I
and
believe so.
Xbox?
I think if it's on Scorpio, it has to work with the included controls, and that will be a controller. So and it had to work on Xbox One as well. So if you're
They
counting
have to have
Star
both.
Citizen ever being on Xbox, don't count on, because for one, that's not even a full fucking game. The game's not even done yet. 50 years later. Secondly, it would never run on the base Xbox One in any kind of form that's presentable. And like I said, the main game's not done. People hype that shit up, but they're not playing it because it's not a full game.
Right.
So, people, I don't know, mouse and keyboard is going to be great, but provided you give people the option to play in lobbies with them, or maybe it's in co-op only. We don't know the specifics of that yet.
But it has to
You can do
have
it for Halo
it
Wars
has to have-
2 and stuff like that.
It has to have both support for controller and
Yeah, like if
But
you,
they have
if you
to
buy a
design-
game and you can't play it with the controller that came with the system, that's broken. And I think they know that. So
Yeah,
it'll
and
have
that's
to
what-
support both.
That's
Yeah,
what keeps PC games from moving over to PS4 and Xbox because they have to build the interface, and they'll say, well, this game isn't really conducive to building a controller interface. It's just not going to work, so we're not going to bother. And I don't
buy
blame
that
them.
shit. I've seen so much stuff ported to controller that all people always said would never work. Halo Wars 2 worked phenomenally. One of the best RTSs on control ever. Supreme Commander 2 worked phenomenally. I would play it that way every time, given the option. It just worked, and people that haven't done it don't understand, but it just does. City Skylines works phenomenally, believe it or not. They found a way. They ran out of physical buttons, so what they do is they create virtual buttons through online menus. And if you do it intuitively enough, it just works. So that's what I'm saying. I don't want to hear that shit, because there's always ways to create more virtual buttons on screen. Hit a button, bring up a big ass radio menu, do something. But there's ways to do it.
And sell a lot more games, sure.
I think with Scorpio, they just need to have options. You know what? If I want to play against mouse and keyboard people on Xbox, give me that option. If I want to play, if it's a UWP game, if I want to play mouse and keyboard against PC guys that have 60 frames per second, 4K, whatever, give me that option. If I want to play just against regular Xbox players, give me that option. List all the options out, and I can guarantee you this system, it won't fail. Just give the players the option to play how they want.
Speaking of regular Xbox players, that might be how a lot of developers get by, pissing off people and also giving Scorpio guys what they want. You're going to the next Call of Duty after World War II or whatever. And by default, it's like all filters are on except for mouse and keyboard, whatever, right? Because that is a massive advantage. They don't have that on by default, but everything else can be checked versus Scorpio, versus whatever. But, you know, if you don't want to play versus 60 frames, guys, or what Call of Duty is a bad example, you get what I'm saying. If you don't want to play against 60 frames and you're stuck at 30, you can go in and take Scorpio or Xbox Pro people, whatever you call it, off of that list, so you don't have to play with 60 frames guys. That you can play with just people on the same level as you. Maybe that's how developers can get by that.
Uh-huh.
They need to have
Off a bunch of people.
I just don't want to play against mouse and keyboard though. Right?
You won't have to.
You shouldn't have to. Yeah.
They're never gonna mandate that you play mouse and keyboard on a console because
That's
everybody
completely
knows
alienating people on consoles, bro.
And like, okay, you could tweak your
They can already do it. Yeah.
you can tweak your Elite controller to be a lot better, but you're still gonna get murked by the mouse and keyboard guys because they just point and shoot you. That's it.
Same skill level on each device, and you're going to get molested. I mean, this stuff's already been tested. The controller guys get destroyed every time. It's not even close. So, and it's not because they're just not as good. It's just that the tool they're using isn't as good. It feels great to console guys, but compared to mouse and keyboard, you got 100 buttons and something that's 1-to-1 accurate with very little recoil on a mouse. Recoil's infinitely easier to control. It's just that's why you see those people doing that insane stuff on Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1. You see those videos of all these stuff going up. They got ridiculous accuracy with that mouse. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Shit. Well,
Either way.
I got him show.
I got him show. Injustice 2. Are you guys loving it? I'm loving it.
Loving it.
I didn't know
Dope
Microsoft owned the Tech 100. Microsoft owns, Havoc. They also, I forgot the other name. The
Simply Gone. They're using both Havoc and Simply Gone on Injustice 2. Yeah.
But that is a great game. How you liking it, dealer?
Beat the campaign on it. Did a little bit of the multiverse. Did a little bit of online. I'm a noob, but that doesn't stop me from enjoying the game. I don't really play fighting games too much, and it's a lot of fun. Best fighting game I've ever played, but probably because I just enjoyed the story a lot. I don't know why some of the reviews are saying the story is not as good as the first Injustice, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. This story is great, and the visuals are some of the best on any platform.
Story is better. Story's better than mostly all the DC movies, so that's a fact.
Which, by the way, Zack Snyder's daughter apparently, something happened with her, and he pulled out of Justice League. So I guess they're bringing in who'd you say it was, Aldi?
Joss Whedon.
Yeah, for Justice League, which is fucking crazy.
Isn't it supposed to be done already though? Isn't that coming out soon?
Well, he's finishing up production, but he's the guy who did the first 2 Avengers movies.
Oh, wow.
Which that's the best director they've had so far. They always choose these directors that have no prowess.
I mean, I guess
from what I've seen so far of Injustice, though, I am kind of intrigued because I can't lie to you. I find most DC movies lame compared to Marvel.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, I don't think they're the same caliber. Like
you have to watch the Ultimate Edition of Batman vs Superman. I've said this 100 times. If you do not watch that version, you didn't watch the real movie because it's really good.
I have that version. I'm gonna pop it in maybe on the weekend or something. But in general, the DC movies, they're just not the same as Marvel.
Marvel's on a fucking hell of a track, right? They're on a hell of a fucking track record right now.
But even back in the day, before we, I'm old school, so like back in the day, we didn't have these fucking movies and shit. We just had to go by the comics. And even back in the day, Marvel destroyed DC.
Well,
come on, get the fuck out of here.
Who has the biggest characters?
Get the fuck out of here.
All DC has that's important to me, that's interesting.
Batman
and Superman. That's it.
The greatest American hero.
DC has the best villains there have ever been.
Villains are
get them, Gilla.
I think
here's the best thing. I like all of them. I don't give a fuck. I like Marvel. I like DC, but I'm gonna be honest and say DC have the best villains.
Yeah, I think
Marvel
so.
Will have the most appealing and most. I don't know. They are some of the most well-known characters, but at the same time, nobody's more famous than Batman and Superman. So they have more. Well, they have more higher-profile characters. But
my name's Mysterio. I'm going to kill you now. It's just corny sometimes.
Marvel had more higher-profile heroes. They got a lot of really famous heroes, but DC had the most famous of all. And I just think the villains are pretty good.
Yeah,
but either way, I'm a fan of all of them. I have all the Marvel movies. I have all the DC movies, and I'm just saying, if you hated Batman vs Superman and haven't seen the 3-hour extended edition, the Ultimate Edition of Batman vs Superman,
what was different?
Dude, they literally added scenes that if you had known those were even filmed and they didn't put them in theaters, and you're like, why the fuck did you not put that in there? That was absolutely imperative. You get to see who Lex Luthor was working for. They didn't even put any of that in there. This is the best extended cut there ever is because it changes the movie. It's not a perfect movie by any means, but it is much better.
That movie, though. I did enjoy that movie. I didn't
watch the extended edition. A lot better.
I enjoyed it, and Wonder Woman looks really good too. To be honest,
yeah, and people are apparently liking Wonder Woman quite a bit. The movie comes out on June 2nd, so
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Before we go, are you guys getting Friday the 13th? Are you interested?
Confident.
When's it come out?
This week.
Is it a full price game?
I don't know. I went to pre-order it on the Xbox One, and it's not there in the store, so I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Fuck you, man.
Their store's so stupid.
Yeah.
When's the last time you even saw the Xbox store, Colt? You're a PC fanboy.
Hey, what about Dirt 4? We haven't heard anything. It comes out like
I think no one cares, bro. Like, that's
what I'm saying.
Dirt 4. You must really.
He said, "I think no one cares."
Hey, yo, hey,
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I've seen some gameplay from Dirt. Look up that gameplay from Dirt.
I haven't seen
pretty
anything.
wonky.
Hey, but you know what? Hey, no bullshit aside, Dirt, what's that, Codemasters that make the game?
Yeah.
I mean, they to me they're like one of the best third-party racing games. Like they make
Dirt
good games,
2 is
bro.
amazing, but
And
I
they get good graphics too, and it's actually it stays true to the sport too. To be
Remember
honest.
Grid? Grid 1
it
and 2?
is supposed to get Scorpio support too. So
Yep.
whatever. Like, shit. There's so many races coming out this year. It's like really
Project
this year.
Cars 2 is starting to ramp up.
Like you couldn't hold on to it, polish it up, and release it early next
your
year
thing,
when you're not
you
going to
like
get
those
nominated.
racers.
Oh, and for the record, I finally seen that GT Sport video. Jesus Christ.
Garbage, huh?
Like no bullshit. Like everything, all fanboy shit aside, bro. That shit is trash.
Fucking
It's
garbage,
complete
bro.
trash.
The map
bro.
is turning underneath the car. The car is
Yes.
not turning. The whole map is turning under the car, bro.
that's like some Nintendo Entertainment System trick they used to
It's
do.
literally like PS2 and PS3 shit, dude.
Like Rad Racer on the Nintendo.
It's like someone squirted. Like there's like a pitmaster squirting KY jelly as they turn, bro. It's
Yes, we said that last week.
dude.
It's really hard to explain. It's just Super Bowl.
I own a PS4 and I would buy that in a heartbeat. It feels dope, but bro, just by looking at it, you know it's a no go.
See, Dealer just said, hold on to it and polish it, and then all day said, squirt some K-Way on your face. This podcast is over.
Okay. But with that being said,
It sounds like when Z said that, he had his hands in his pocket and went on his tippy toes. And we're out of here.
Does it have to be over? I just need another minute.
Yeah, you know what I mean? On that note, it's the big black guy that tells the show with the sexual overtone. We out of here. We catch you guys next week on Xbox Beastfire. I'm getting surgery, so maybe one of these fine gentlemen will host it. So we'll talk about that behind the scenes. We catch you all the what we do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Fuck it, you name it.
Watch for Dealer and I late this week for a video. We'll be putting something together. You guys might like.
When you're dropping it on leap year, when you're dropping it.
I want to get it done by the end of Wednesday. It just depends when Dealer and I can sit down and discuss the content and finish it up.
All right. Okay. All right.
So, but watch for it Wednesday or Thursday. It'll be good.
It's absolutely guaranteed to piss off a lot of little PC dick lickers. So
yeah, and they deserve it for what they've said. So, but
yeah, you can build a Scorpio for $8 according to some of these motherfuckers.
Everybody in the comments, man, thanks for coming out.
Yeah,
hit
thank
the
you.
like button. If you enjoyed the show today, hit the like button. Thank you guys. We're talking about 260 today live. Dope shit. The show will be going back to Mondays about 8 o'clock. So, but anyway, we out of here, man. Thank you guys. Peace. Down. Bacon, 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 bacon.